Key tips for producing decorative epoxy products. Here are some of the most important points to consider when creating decorative products with epoxy resin. What materials can be used for molds? Silicone and certain plastic materials can be used as molds because epoxy resin does not easily bond to them. If your mold is not made from a single piece and the sides have been assembled separately, make sure all joints are completely sealed. Apply silicone sealant along the seams to prevent any resin leakage. Aluminum sheet can also be used for the sides of the mold. If you do not have suitable plastic, aluminum, or silicone materials and need to build your mold from MDF, particle board, or similar materials, completely cover all surfaces that will come into contact with the epoxy with packing tape. This will create a release surface and prevent the epoxy from bonding directly to the mold. Pouring thickness and ambient temperature. When the room is warmer than 20 degrees, pour the epoxy in thin layers. Each layer should be about 1 centimeter thick. Wait until each layer is fully cured before adding the next layer. Continue until you reach the thickness you need. For air bubbles near the surface, apply gentle heat. For deeper bubbles, use warm air to help them rise to the surface. Use warmth carefully when removing bubbles. Too much warmth can affect the epoxy and create new bubbles. These new bubbles are different from the air bubbles already inside the mixture. Adding more warmth will not help. It may create even more bubbles. Do not try to remove every bubble at once. Repeat the process every 20 minutes until the bubbles are reduced. After about 2 hours, do not make any more changes to the epoxy. Leave it completely untouched until it has fully hardened. Before sanding, give the epoxy enough time to cure. After all layers are finished, wait at least 7 to 8 days before starting the sanding process. This allows the epoxy to become hard enough before sanding and polishing. For a glossy finish, use a random orbital sander. Sand the surface step by step using finer grits each time. Do not skip stages. Continue up to 2000 grit. There are several ways to polish epoxy depending on the final look you want to achieve. For a shiny surface, first sand the epoxy until it feels smooth. If you want to add a clear finish, sand the surface gradually and then apply the final layer. If you want to add another epoxy layer, use a rougher surface before applying it. This helps the new layer stick better. Another option is to make the surface shiny by sanding and polishing it. If you want to achieve a high gloss finish using polishing compounds, progressively sand the epoxy surface up to 2000 grit. Once sanding is complete, continue with the compound and polishing process by following the steps shown in our training video.